We have a link to this page right here, the hello page from the home page, and that's using a normal A tag. But sometimes we want to be able to link to another page just from Rust code. Maybe something happens and like the form submits and the HTTP request succeeds. And then after that, we want to now link in. Maybe like therefore in a callback somewhere, we want to change where we are. We can't do that with a link tag. That's obviously something that's just somebody's going to click on. There is a way to sort of change where we are, though, programmatically. Let's go to take a look at the documentation and where that's defined here. So over here, so in the same router page, if we just continue down in navigation to the function component section, we can see that they give us a use history hook. This use history is going to allow us to then do this history push, and then we just give it a route arm. So in this case, they suggest a route home. That's exactly what we're going to do. So we're going to actually just recreate this example exactly. We're going to create a button that when we click it, it's going to send us home. All right, so let's come back here. We're going to go to our components, pages, hello. We are going to need to add in a div here. So we can add in a button. So let's just say that this is go home. And are you compiling? Oh, there it is. Just took a little while for it to recompile, but we have our go home button. Now, obviously, nothing's happening when we click this. So let's create a callback to handle that. So we'll do a on click equals, this is creating a new callback from, we're going to get this click event here, but I don't really care about that. And now once this happens, I want to do the, I want to then go home. So that's going to be, let's just start with a log. So clicked. This is how often I end up like sort of building these is one at a time, just a little tiny bit. Make sure that the on-click handler is working before we start moving on the use history to make sure that it isn't a problem with this. Okay, so we'll do an on-click equals on-click. Now I know you can just do a parenthesis like the on-click with brackets around it if it's just on click equals on click. I tend to like to do this. I don't know why. I just sort of feel like it makes a little bit more sense to me. It feels a little bit more like native HTML, perhaps, was what I'm used to. It's just something that I do, but you currently don't. You could just do on click like this, and it will work just fine. All right, so let's open up our here, and when we click that, we get clicked. Excellent. So now let's bring in history. So let history equals history. Well, we need to pull in use the router prelude. And now we should have access to use history. That gives us an option with this any history in it. If we go back to the documentation and how we're supposed to use that, they actually recommend an unwrap directly on use history to get the history itself. So let's go ahead and do that. This should not fail. If it does, we probably need to know. We now have this history object here, which means that we can move that into our callback. Now, if we need to do this in multiple places, we'll have to clone history. We'll move that in here, and instead of this log clicked, we'll do a history dot push, and now we need to push in what the route is going to be. So let's bring in route, and I want to go home. And that should be it. Let's test it out. So we're going to come back to here. I'm going to click go home, and it's taken us home. So that's the other way that we can link between components, is doing it programmatically inside of the code instead of just an A tag. Hopefully this has been helpful. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.